At Capella University, you'll get support from people who care about your success. From before you enroll to after you graduate, pursue your goals knowing help is available when you need it. Imagine your future differently at capella.edu.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Think Different podcast. And I know we're hoping that Ace Ventura would be here. No, it's not that kind of Ventura we're going to be talking about today. No, not about this guy who talks to animals and tries to solve crimes and gets like Dan Marino captured. No, it is time for the Think Different podcast. I am Will TLD, the owner of WV Productions, and you need to hire me for your next wedding day. And I appreciate all you who have been joining me on this journey of 2022. My God, success is probably the word I could say I'm having right now. But I'm not by myself. No, I have my friend. That's right. I am with the former creative. He is the retired book publisher, soccer mom recorder, Jurassic Park owner, the black coffee drinker, juror number 12, the retirement home president, the keto drummer, Mr. Frank Funk is here.
Hello. What a great day.
It's been a while since you've heard that, and I know it just brings a smile to your stomach. So, Frank, it's been a couple of weeks since we were going to have a podcast. A lot of stuff just happens in my life, being a wedding videographer.
Yep.
It just gets in the way. I've been by myself at work. I have a new hire now that came in, so that's great for me. But it is time to talk about WWDC. It has finally happened. We figured we'd wait to talk about it right now, since I really didn't have any subjects to talk about, and we wanted to talk about Apple Pay, but we have to wait on you to make a keynote for that.
Yeah. As you know, actually, I want to just let you know, I started it, and looks like I think we're going to have to do it in several segments because there's quite a lot there to cover.
Mm-hmm. So, that's fine. I'm totally fine with doing it in segments, but you have to break it up correctly, Frank. So make sure we have 2 different episodes. So this is on you, Frank.
Okay.
All right. I work like 80 hours a week, and you don't. So remember that.
Yeah, but I'm vacationing 80 hours a week.
Yeah, I know. That's true. I'm sorry. I don't know how I put so much pressure on you. So we're going to talk about WWDC, our overall thoughts, some things that they didn't talk about, as well as some of the compatibility. I also have installed iOS 16 on my, I guess I call it a dummy phone that I have, that I work with.
That's the normal one you carry around, right?
That's right. Not my normal one, no. It's one that SiriusXM gave me that didn't, for some reason, ask for it back. So
there you go.
Use it for that reason. What's important, though, that, again, do not install this on your personal phone. It is not going to work that great. I have worked on it. It works pretty good. I have seen some slowness in a couple of apps on that phone I tested out. Mm-hmm. But overall, it's pretty solid as far as like the workaround.
As far as the beta goes.
Right. Now, I went to betaprofiles.com. That's where I went to, because if you're a developer, you have to pay $100. But, of course, you could just give the configuration profile out there, and that's where I went to get it. So just point that out. Be careful when you put this on. So let's first talk about the lock screen. Now, this is probably the number one feature in iOS 16 that allows you to create different lock screens showcasing photos, font styles, and different widgets right on the front of the screen.
Yep.
So how does that work? Well, you're going to see widgets. You can add up to 4 widgets on the screen. I just want to point that out. That's what I found out. You could change the color of the text. You could change the date up here. As you can see, you can have like a sunset up here. So, and you can use it for different screens. So I went through this. It's very easy. I think it's similar to how you do customizations on your watch. If I had to compare like the experience of it, it's pretty close to that with a lot more customization on there. So you could see things like time zones, battery life. Of course, these are all Apple apps right now. It's going to really expand once we have everyone's stuff out there. So also, notifications have been lowered to the lower part of the lock screen now, which is great.
I like that. I like that a lot.
And then I would say the last thing is the live activities. So now, if you want a notification of something that's going on in real time, and sports scores was probably the number one thing you could think of, as well as like Uber or food delivery, this is going to pop up right on your home screen now, and you don't have to like get 1,000 pop-ups about it's being made, it's on its way. It's like it seems like it's going to be very streamlined.
Yeah, those things are very nice. And one of the things that I also noticed in the keynote was that you see on the screen on the left there with the couple, the numbers are behind the image.
Yeah.
So you can.
And that's a mother and a daughter, but that's fine. You can call them a couple.
Right, yeah. Mother and the daughter. But you can position the picture to be over top of the numbers. So the numbers will be in the foreground, in the background. Picture will be in the foreground. I like that a lot. That's
now
nice.
I tried different photos for this, and actually a photo that wasn't taken with an iPhone, it still figured it out. So I thought that was very interesting how it was able to figure that out. It doesn't have to be an iPhone picture for it to do it, but based on the experience that I had using this, this is to me a really big deal, because you can also change this depending on the mood, which goes into the next thing, which is focus. Yes. I did try this out. With focus, so if you could have different focus settings for different reasons. So you could basically have a different home page for a different focus.
For a different purpose, right? Yeah. So like for work, you could have one, personal, like it has listed there, do not disturb. I'm little upset they didn't have a category for retired.
Yeah,
so you could have.
You can make your own.
Make my own category.
Isn't sleep the one that you would use for that?
No, not the most. No, I hardly sleep now. Vacation. That's the one.
Yeah, so focus I thought was really cool. And then they have focus filters. So they're adding a filter feature like in mail messages for that as well. So you can filter out any kind of distractions.
Yeah, well, it seemed to me that these filters, or these focus filters, they're building them to go across multiple apps. Right. So you don't have to set it in each individual app. It's just going to be there.
Mm-hmm. And there's going to be a lot of videos. I already saw a lot online about some of these features. Most people are kind of messing with the home screen because that's probably the number one feature that's being updated on this. And then this one I thought was excellent, the iCloud shared photo library. Because right now what I do is I make a shared album with each person that I want to share my photos with, but it's just in that album. Right now, you have the option to share with your entire family across all your devices. I'm sure you all have to be on iOS 16 to do this. Yes. But they're allowing you to share moments based on a date, based on a location, if you're all together. And then you will see this right here, this icon, Share Library, which you can click on and off that will allow you to, while you're taking a picture. That, I think, is great. I love the idea of having two different libraries, for different things. And I think that having it for the family is pretty neat.
Yeah. And then the other thing with that is that you didn't mention, I'm sure people are interested in, is anybody that has access to that shared family library can add, delete, or edit photos. So I think that's a pretty neat feature, too.
Another nice little thing when it comes to photos, you can now, if you're making editing changes, you can go back one step. You don't have to
just revert to the original?
Revert to the original, yep.
Oh,
so that was a little thing I found that I don't think is mentioned here, but I can, when I was editing, you can go back one step at a time, which I thought was great.
Cool.
Yep.
It's kind of like an undo, huh?
It's basically an undo button, yes. Messages. Everyone loved this part too. You can now edit. You can now unsend and edit a message you've already sent. Yeah. And testing this feature out, again, everyone has to be on iOS 16 for this to work. Meanwhile, if they are not on iOS 15, whatever you send, is already sent. So I'm just letting you know that. So just be aware of that. You can now also
iOS 15 or iOS 16?
Yeah, if you have 15 and below, even if you unsend the message, it still will send it.
Okay.
So be aware of that. It'll tell you, actually, it told me, that's how I figured that out. Also, SharePlay via messages. Now, I have never used SharePlay yet.
Nor I.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm trying to figure out how they can get people to be very interested in it.
To be honest with you, I think this is more of a generational thing. I mean, I don't see. I'll put you and I in the same generation, even though we're light years apart. I don't see us sitting down on our devices in different locations and watching the same movie and conversing about it. I just think that's a very young, trendy thing. That's what I think.
The other thing they talked about was a collaboration with Safari tab groups and presentations and reminders. Again, a feature I don't necessarily use. I wasn't like overly impressed with that.
Well, I was kind of excited about that because I thought, just as we had mentioned earlier in the opening, was the Apple Pay that I'm creating. See, that's something that we could possibly collaborate on and work at the same time. I know you work a lot of hours and all that, but I could see that collaboration being more useful than than this particular feature we're talking about.
Well, I mean, presentations make sense. That's kind of out here already with collaboration.
Right.
So that's kind of their notes. That makes sense. Reminders, that could make sense. The tab groups with Safari, though, the only thing I could see that I'm trying to figure out how that would work. Like, I don't know. And again, I'm sure you have to have an Apple ID logged in, and it's going to be very specific to. You have to have like the right circumstances for that to work.
I think if you're working on a project at work with a particular work group, then I think that's where it would all tie in. I don't necessarily think it would be a family sharing thing, but it would be more of a work-related objective.
And next up was mail. They added some more search features, undo send, schedule send, follow-up, add rich links. So these are all, I think, great new features. Safari and passkeys. Passkeys was a big deal. So what that is allowing you to do is you can secure your keys into your iCloud keychain. And what's happening is it is shared across all your devices, and it'll allow you to get into the site without them having a passcode.
Yeah.
So you're basically not using a password.
Well, without keying the password.
Right. So I'm just showing you right here that passkeys introduce a new sign-in method, which is end-to-end encryption and safe from phishing and data leaks. This makes passkeys stronger than all common two-factor authentication types. It also works for non-Apple devices as well. So, okay, so it will. I think that's something they're trying to do. I think they mentioned they're trying to do that. But passkeys is the future. I definitely agree with this being the future.
Yep. Yeah. With being able to have access to that through the keychain, I think that's going to be a big asset. And also with the legacy. See, with the passkeys coming into vogue, if somebody should pass away, the legacy would then have access to all of that, which I think would be a good thing.
And then you have shared tag groups. I think this is great, again, when you're planning a trip. I think that's a great idea. Like, this is something I would probably use with other people. It just like if you're going somewhere and trying to gather articles and, messages and stuff like that.
Yeah, important things to do when you get there.
Yep. This is one of the best features I've ever seen. You can actually lift a subject directly out of a photo and send it to somewhere else. So I tested this out. And it doesn't matter if it's an iPhone photo or a photo from 1943. It is able to copy whatever you hold down your finger on the device, on the subject, and then this glow appears around it. And then there's an option for copy and share.
Imagine.
And it's darn accurate. It's amazing.
Yeah, I saw that and I thought, that's going to be interesting.
So, yeah, because anybody that, like, Photoshop-wise, this is an amazing, like, less work you have to do.
Now, does it delete it from the original photo?
No, you're just copying it. Remember, there's a copy and a share, not a cut. So just remember that. But it's pretty darn accurate.
That's cool.
And then, live text for video. I've wanted that because there were situations that I saw something and I couldn't grab it. That was like one time I had that, and I was like, you got to take, instead of taking a screenshot. So I don't even think a screenshot even really. I mean, you could do that.
Explain to us what this does and how this.
So
works.
It allows you to pause a video on any frame, grab and copy text on that frame, and share it. So Code is the best example they showed. For that. So instead of it being just a picture, you could do that. Another live text add-on is conversion. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Imagine going somewhere you've never been and you see in Europe or Mexico and you want to be able to convert right on the fly.
Yeah.
That is really cool.
And you just do that via the camera, right?
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. All right, and then you can run shortcuts with Siri as soon as you install an app. So if the apps have to be on top of that, regarding that feature, dictation, you could finally have the keyboard available to you while you are saying what you're saying, which is awesome. I tried that out. That took a little bit of time to get used to. Also, it's supposed to be able to put cursors, it's supposed to be able to do periods, exclamation points, commas, punctuation, which it did do for some things. I didn't see it for everything, but it definitely works. It just took me some time to get used to it.
Well, I've always loved dictation. I a lot of times people would come in.
You are a dictator, after all.
Would come in and complain that, it takes them so long to type a text message. And I said, well, why are you typing it? And they go, what do you mean? And then I would demonstrate the dictation to him. I said, listen, it's not perfect, but it's definitely 80%. And a lot of people really said, wow, that's really good. I'll have to try it. And the more you use it, the better you get to understand how it works. And like in here, I think didn't you have to say comma? And then the next word.
That's right.
Period. If you say period, then it'll drop 2 lines or new paragraph, and it'll go to the new paragraph. So the dictation is pretty good. I always like that in the prior editions.
I always like Xevia too, non-sponsored, of course. So.
Maps. I liked what they did here too.
This is great for me. This is good because when I go to wedding gigs, sometimes I go to like multiple locations.
Yes.
So having the multiple stops set up routing is going to be great. I love that a lot.
Yeah.
And then you have the transit cards and fares in Maps, so now you don't have to leave the app. You can actually see the cost of your trip before you go anywhere. I wonder if that's going to work for, I guess, in that tolls, would that count? I don't know if tolls are going to do that.
No, because most tolls are going to have to be with Easy Pay, your Easy Pay device on your car.
Right.
But I immediately thought of you on this when they were talking about this because, like you said, when you're doing something, you have multiple stops. You have the bride's house, the reception, whatever it may be.
Yeah, this was great. That's because what I've been doing is I just copy and paste in the calendar each item where I can set this up ahead of time, and I love that. Yeah,
and then you can also add monies to a transit card right from within the app, which I thought was pretty handy.
All right, and then Apple Pay is next, and this is great where you can.
This is cool.
I wonder how. Now there are people already doing this within their own platform, but not, where Apple takes care of it. And on top of it, all your orders are tracked. I guarantee you, Amazon's going to do nothing with this. I guarantee it. Yeah. But if you order from multiple sites where Apple Pay, I think, is available, I think that's going to work with it.
Sure, because I think those vendors are going to say, hey, you know what? I'll just let Apple take care of the tracking. Whereas I don't know if a vendor has to pay additional monies to, say, UPS or FedEx for the track, or even the United States Postal Service for that matter. But I thought that was pretty good. I liked the fact that you could delay payment into 4 equal payments at no interest.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Yep. I love that. You could share hotel room keys, and you can for identity. You don't have to tell them your exact birthday. You can just tell them you're over 21, which is great too.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Home app has been rebuilt, which thank God, because I think that needed an overhaul. And hopefully, when Matter is supported, it looks like it's coming soon. Because I do have a Nest that is obviously not in HomeKit,
right?
That I really want it to be, as well as all my cameras that I have connected here. So I'm begging them to get this done as quick as possible.
Well, is it just Apple that has to do this, or does Google?
Well, Google, Amazon, they all have to get this to work right for it. Apple mentioned something where they're using the HomeKit software in these items. Like almost like everyone agrees that the HomeKit software is included. I don't know exactly how that works, but I was very excited for that. A fitness app for your iPhone, great in case you don't have a watch. That's what it's there for.
Yeah.
Health app updates. You can now the new medications feature built in.
I love this. I absolutely.
Well,
love
obviously, because you probably take 100 pills.
Oh man, I'm telling you, my pharmacist knows me by first name. Man. I do.
Did you get me a little something for me?
Yeah. What I like about that is I'm already using another app to track all my medicines and to say when it's time to reorder. And sometimes you could set up like an alarm to say, oh, don't forget to take your medication at 9 o'clock or 8:30 at night or whenever it is. And the fact that you can do this right in iOS 16, I was really excited about that because
it looked really cool with the scanning of the bottles. It'll know like what drugs like together are not the best idea.
Yes, the interactions are very good. That's important.
And then family sharing, I thought was really great. Some of the new child accounts, which you really don't care about that, but for me down the line, that's going to be valuable for that. The family checklist for suggestions when you can update location sharing. They're going to update you as you go along. When you set up a new device, you can actually choose who will be using it, which I think is a good idea for that. CarPlay now.
Wait. To go back to the security one, the family checklist, isn't that the one where you can reset and block somebody?
Yeah.
That's where they were demonstrating.
No, you were talking about the abuse.
Yes.
Part of it. That's not here.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
CarPlay. So some cars are going to have a full LED dashboard. Now, we all can agree, other than Tesla, there's probably no other car manufacturer that gets the software right. As far as like use. So.
Well, BMW's pretty good.
How would I know, dude? I don't have money to buy a BMW.
Doesn't everybody have a
BMW? So
come on, man.
Does it have an LED board on the whole thing?
Yes. The whole thing doesn't go all the way across to the passenger side. It goes maybe halfway. Also, the new Cadillac LYRIQ, that's extremely digital. I'm sure there are a couple Mercedes models.
People think that this is like the new Apple car. It's almost like
that's right.
That's what people think that this is going to be.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
I think about it. It says vehicle announcement is coming in late 2023, so we got a long time before this even happens.
Yeah.
But people think that this is going to be the Apple car.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, my Subaru has the maps in the center of the dash. And the 2 gauges there, so it's. I don't think it's that far away.
I mean, that's pretty far. I think that's pretty far away. But we'll see what happens in late 2023. And then this is what you were talking about, which is safety check, which is in case you are in a domestic or intimate partner violence situation, you can regress some of the access. This is great for like divorce too, and
yes,
other things. But yeah,
Yeah,
This is
it doesn't have to be divorce. You're ending a relationship, and in that relationship, you shared your passwords and all of that, and sometimes people can be a little vindictive.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is a good thing.
And then I really didn't go much into the accessibility. You could read that. You can control your Apple Watch with your iPhone, which is cool. There's a buddy controller, which does work with Nintendo Switch. And then there's a whole bunch of other things, including the sports feature that's going to be into the app. More weather information. Freeform, which is coming out later, which is a productivity app where you can collaborate. You're basically having a huge whiteboard.
Yeah.
And you get to throw stuff in there. A better Spotlight search. Spotlight now is on the bottom of the screen, and you can just tap right on it to do a search instead of just swiping down. Also, they don't have Spotlight on the top anymore. They have it on the bottom. They did do that. Handoff for FaceTime, which is great for Mac. I love that, where you're on a call and you can switch over, which I think is great. So those are, you can see the whole list of everything in there, and that's the iOS 16. This is a great addition. I feel like there's a lot of useful things in here, where a lot of times Apple will just come out with random, like I remember that one year, Messages was like 20 minutes of like a bunch of random stuff that was like not necessary. I remember that one year. I think it was 2020 or something. I don't remember. It was just really not terrible. But let's talk about the next thing, which is macOS Ventura. Oh, you're not happy?
Well, no, I am. I'm happy about Ventura.
Ventura.
Yeah.
Yes, Satan. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I thought you were someone else.
No.
Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, 1993.
Undo, send, schedule, send, follow up.
Yeah, we talked about all that already.
That's really good.
Updated Spotlight, which has now more of a window atmosphere on there. Better search, passkeys, which we've already talked about. Shared tab groups, messages. A lot of this stuff is already. See, it's amazing how everything Apple introduces into one system, it's like carrying over.
Yes. So, and that's getting closer and closer to where it's just going to be one system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, again, everything we're talking about now, this is the new feature that is going to be in Ventura, which is Stage Manager, which automatically organizes your apps and windows into a single view on the Mac. So if I'm working on Final Cut Pro, on the left side, the other windows are going to be there if I need to get to them. Also, if you click on the desktop, it kind of pushes all the windows to the side and lets you, work on the desktop.
Now, when they were demoing this, I was wondering why they didn't go to multiple desktops.
So they technically have that with different desktops. You can
I would imagine you can still do that.
Yeah, absolutely. That already exists.
Yeah, which I thought they really didn't show.
Yeah, but that's already a feature. I don't think they have to show it.
All right. But yeah, I do like this.
So this is how people don't know. I don't know about this one, but there's another thing we're going to talk about that I think it's going to be good for. But FaceTime with handoff, continuity camera. Now this was badass. Yeah. So Frank, you paid for the app that you're using right now to do what this is going to do.
Yeah.
So they showed a stand that Belkin's going to create. Your iPhone goes on that stand, and it shoots towards you, and automatically, because it knows it's up there or somehow near your computer, it's going to automatically open up the webcam on the iPhone. Plus, the best part about that was Center Stage is available now.
Yes. Yep.
The new portrait modes, and then desk view.
Yeah.
This was cool because it literally shows what, like, people who are doing like demo videos of like what they're doing with their keyboard or something like that. It's somehow the angle of the wide lens aims down at you, and it's somehow supposed to be a perfect picture of it.
Yeah, I'm anxious to try that.
I am so anxious to try this out. Like, how cool! Like, this is where Apple shines. This word right here, because like copy and pasting, like on the bottom of my dock, like Safari is like if I'm opening Safari right now, which I just opened, it shows up now on here, which is amazing. That is cool stuff.
Yeah.
So I loved this. Was like, other than the copying of, other than the home screen and the copying of the people out of the photos into there, this was my next big, wow.
Yeah.
It sucks I can't use this for a while. They're going to improve gaming support, which, not a lot of people use Mac for games yet. I don't think they always will. SharePlay allows you to do any app that uses Game Center, you can do SharePlay. So there is a value to that.
My grandson uses that a lot.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a big fan of it. What does he play with?
I don't know he's a fan of it, but him and his little cronies use it.
Okay. We already talked about Freeform, the blank save. This was amazing. System settings is replacing system preferences.
Yeah.
It was about time. Honestly, there was no reason to keep calling it system preferences when it's settings in every other spot.
Yeah.
So, and they redesigned it to make it looks exactly like your phone.
Yep.
So that's an RIP to the old design.
Yeah.
Hidden and recently deleted albums locked by default. I don't even know what that is. Oh, locked hidden albums and photos. Okay, I guess whatever.
Well, you can create hidden albums that only the user can see.
Well, I guess locking is a good idea. If you don't want someone to see your, private pictures you're sending to that special someone.
Or in my case, maybe I'm taking pictures of stacks of money.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You have a ton of those. I forgot about those that you sent me. Yeah. That's true. And then other things are on here too. So that's Ventura.
Wait, what's this? Dictate names, addresses, and other custom spell. Well, that's okay.
Yeah. Okay. That's great. All right. We got to move on. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. So iOS 16, iPadOS 16. Sorry about that. A lot of features have already been talked about with photos, messages, mail, Safari and passkeys, but Stage Manager is the one item I thought is we are starting to see
the iPadOS
separate from the iPhone, because now you can resize windows and you can see overlapping windows. And Stage Manager now with the four most recent apps on the left, that to me is a game changer. I think this is the starting point that we needed. And if you have a mouse, it's going to make it even easier.
Yeah.
On this.
Yep.
You can switch between apps very easily. You can have different workspaces. Also, external display support. So you can view multiple apps on both your iPad and external. So that means you can have a total of 8 apps in Stage Manager available to you.
Yeah, this is, it's pretty interesting stuff.
You have to remember, this is feature specifically, I believe, is only M1 iPads. It's not. So now we're starting to see the separation of the normal iPad to which I think is necessary. I think, why would you buy one over the other except for power? Well, now you're giving features that the M1 has.
Yeah.
Which is great. I think that's tremendous. And it looks like there's a special reference mode for the 12.9 iPad, so I guess whatever. That's nice. I'm not getting that one. Change the display of your resolution. You can fit more on the screen. That's, again, another nice little feature.
Yeah.
That you could do that. Oh, my God, a weather app.
Wow, who'd have thunk it?
Who would have thunk it? That it only took Apple how many years to finally have a weather app?
I don't know what. The iPhone's 10 years old, right? Or 13 years old, whatever.
Oh, my. 2007. So what? It came out 2008, 2009. It took that many years for them to finally put a weather app on there. How funny is that?
Yeah.
And everything else on here is pretty much in all the other ones. Yeah, nothing really new.
I think the biggest takeaway from this, other than the very nice features in a lot of it, is that the systems are converging.
Oh, yeah.
Year by year, they're getting closer.
They're getting at more and more things.
Just to becoming one system.
Mm-hmm. Even this was nice. In Pages now, you can add more stuff on the toolbar.
Yes.
That was a nice little thing.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's, I think, most of the stuff with iPad. So iPad, now for me, I have to buy an M1 iPad now. Like, I have to. That's only the iPad I would buy.
Well, it's interesting you brought that up, because prior to this, I was thinking, well, what new machine should I get? And I'm kind of like, I don't know now, because the MacBook Air with the M1 with 256 and AppleCare is around $1,200. The 10.9 iPad Air 256 with AppleCare is around $900.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, the Mac Studio, the M1 with 32 gig of unified memory, 1 terabyte is $2,200 plus a monitor.
Mm-hmm.
But then you got the MacBook Air with the M2.
We're going to get to that.
Gig,
we're going to get to that.
And for $512, you're talking around $2,000. So I'm like, man, I just don't know which one to get. It's tough.
It is tough. Yeah. Well, my decision was easy. I was getting that 16-inch MacBook Pro no matter what. WatchOS, I'll be honest. So I think Watch is starting to hit its limit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, what is really coming out in Watch that we need?
Or that you can't live without, you mean?
Yeah. Because, the workout views are great for people who are long-distance runners or people who are very active. Like, they're doing a lot of good things with that. They're, like, multi-sport, so you could transition between swim and bike, which is nice. They're going to tell you, like, your more stroke information. You could, medications, which they put the medications in this when really the iPhone is really where that belonged.
Yeah.
It's just notifications.
Yeah.
So sleep, though, they're adding REM, core, and deep sleep.
Yeah, but now I watched this and I thought, well, the problem for me with this is that I use, when I go to sleep, that's the time I use to charge my watch.
Mm-hmm.
So if I wear my watch to bed, the battery's going to be dead. So I don't know. I don't know.
The only thing I can think of doing for that is putting a charger in the car. I mean, beyond that, I don't know.
Like in the middle of the day, take it off and recharge.
Well, look, when I'm driving, I have a 40-minute drive, so I can put it in my car, charge it. But I can tell you right now, my watch battery is not that great anymore. Definitely, I have a Series 4, so I'm definitely getting to like this battery's end soon. New watch faces that they're going to have out on there, but there's very small amount of stuff that you really are going to have here. AFib history, which I guess that's great. Podcast app is now available on there, which is good because I was hoping they would have that. Family setup, new features for kids. So like I said, there wasn't much to do. But I thought this was cool. Look at this. Double pinch to start a workout or take a photo. How about take a video? That'd be really good.
Yeah.
I would love that quick action.
They didn't make any changes to your video camera, though. Or to the camera itself.
That was a disappointment. That was a disappointment that they didn't do that. But yeah, there wasn't really much like stuff here. Like I was really trying to find something. I just couldn't find anything.
Well, I would agree with you that the watch. I mean, how far can you push it?
I mean, the biggest thing for me is a lot of stuff like apps are leaving that app store. Like I can't even control my Nest when I used to be able to. It's like there are things that are leaving the app store that I'm trying to find a value in it. I'm just trying, but it's just a notification machine for me.
Yeah.
Or if I need to do a quick like fast forward or something. I mean, it's not gonna. I don't know what more it can add other than adding hardware to it.
Yeah.
Also, tvOS got no love on this one because they didn't talk about it. But there are some features on here that I wanted to show. Cross-device connectivity allows them to integrate the Apple TV app in their iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch apps to unlock new experiences. For example, developers can deliver more personalized workouts and the Apple TV based on the motion sensor data from Apple Watch. Okay.
That's interesting.
There's more game support. I could see why they kind of skipped this. There wasn't really too much to do in there, but I just wanted to show the screen so you could do it. My biggest problem with this is a big thing. So I'm trying to order a show on the Bleacher Report app. On the iPhone, there's a sign-in with Apple. But when I go to the Bleacher Report app on tvOS, that option's not there. And I did a hide your email. So now I have to go into find the email, and I've never got it to work. And because Bleacher Report doesn't have Sign with Apple on their damn tvOS. And because of that, 2 times I tried to buy something, it didn't work because when I have more than one account. So when I used my Apple account, it was basically connecting me to my Apple login, which I couldn't figure out. So I never got to watch it.
Yeah.
I had to get a refund twice. So, yeah, I just hope they improve that. Finally, last thing we're going to talk about as far as what happened was the iPad Air.
Yeah. Yes.
What are some of the features you liked about it while I bring that up? Whoa, you don't want to see my Apple ID.
Well, the iPad Air, well, it's a brand new chip.
Well, all new design. Let's talk about that. It's on the screen. All new design. The Apple M2 chip. It's got 20,000 different processors. And it has over 2 billion transistors. Right?
It's
That's what he says.
Yeah.
It's got up to 18 hours of battery life.
Yeah. That has more battery life than my watch.
Yeah, that's true, doesn't it?
Yep.
It's true. So they're adding all the features of the 16. They learn whatever they learned on the 16, they're putting it in here. The camera, the audio speaker on here. So they're adding all the things. It's a thin machine. That is sick thin.
Yeah.
This new midnight finish, which looks really nice.
Yeah.
You know, they got all these Starlight, Starbright, first star is in the night. But the midnight.
And MagSafe. There's your MagSafe, man.
Yep. Gotta love that MagSafe, man. And what's interesting is I'm trying to see if they can really do. But the M2 chip, everything's faster. Yeah. That's just remember that. There's nothing like super crazy. It's got a liquid retina display on there. The sound, the 1080p camera, the notch.
I was a little surprised that they did come out with the M2 so early on the heels of the M1. But hey, why not? I guess.
And now, Frank, let's do the pricing. If you do you do the pricing if you upgraded the whole thing all the way?
No.
Okay.
No, I stopped at let's see, the M2 16 gig, 512, and AppleCare at 229 came in at 1928.
If you were to go all the way at 24 gigs of memory and a 2 terabyte storage, you're looking at $24.99 for a fully decked out MacBook Air Midnight. Now, there's something unique about this. The 35-watt dual USB-C port compact power adapter.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. If you were to buy the $11.99 one, those are items you have to purchase separately.
Yeah.
If you buy it in the $14.99, it comes either with the 35 dual, or you can upgrade to the 67-watt power adapter, which gives you fast charging.
Yeah.
Which they said it takes how long for it to...
50% in a half an hour.
That's crazy. That's a lot. So that is what they're offering for the MacBook Air. So my initial thoughts. First off, a little disappointed in the price. Not going to lie, $11.99 is a lot. I think for a MacBook Air. They are selling the M1 chip at a discount now. They went down to $9.99. So when back to school runs around, of course, it's a $100 discount, so that makes it $8.99 for an M1 Mac. Pretty good deal for that.
Yep.
If you have an M1 MacBook Air now, there is absolutely no reason to get an M2 chip one. Not at all. And for some god-awful reason, Apple thought, you know what? Let's put the M2 inside that MacBook Pro 13-inch.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
I thought that thing was done after this M2 was coming. I was like, oh, were they putting the M2 in there? I was like,
the 14?
What?
Was it the 13 or the 14?
The 13, the one with the
13?
touch bar.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You're right. Yeah.
So they kept that one around for $12.99 with a touch bar model, which, by the way, all that technology in that device is like 3 years old.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
You know, I don't get it. Like that machine there, I will never. And the screen size is the same now. It's not. It's a 13.6 inch screen.
Yeah.
You know, I don't get it. I just don't know why Apple did that.
Yeah. I don't know.
Tell me, I don't think that makes any sense.
No.
You know, they just want to have it there just to have it there. I guess if people really want their freaking touch bar, Mac.
I guess. I'm beside myself to figure out what machine I want.
All right. Well, we're not here. That's another day for you. You figure that out. You go see your therapist about it.
Yeah.
All right. iOS 16 though, I thought this was great. For some things that they didn't announce was Face ID can now be set up in landscape mode.
Oh.
Yeah. So who would have thought that? And then wanted to go over the entire list of what's not compatible in this new version. So they took away a lot of stuff this year. Anything that is a 2017 MacBook Pro or MacBook or later is supported, but everything underneath that is not. So you're talking like anything from 2016 is not supported anymore, which is quite surprising.
Yeah.
You know.
I didn't know that. Huh.
Also, Apple Watch Series 3 is no longer supported with the new Watch OS. So that tells me Series 3 will not be around after this fall.
Yeah.
And honestly, there's no reason to buy it now because now you know it's not compatible with the new watch. So these are all the compatible models for the entire list of Air and MacBook Pros on there. So, you know, definitely take a look at that list. iPad OS 16. They are getting rid of a few of them as well. So anything that the iPad Air 2 and the iPad Mini 4th Gen are no longer supported on that. And also AppleCare did go up for the M2 Air. So there is a price increase at $30.
Yeah, well, that's okay.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're okay with it, Frank. So overall thoughts, WWDC this year, there was a lot to pack in here. This is a long podcast episode. I apologize for the length, but there was a lot to talk about. I was very impressed with this year's. I thought it was better than last year's, and I thought there were more useful things that people are going to use.
Yeah, I would agree. The one thing that I also noticed, you saw Tim Cook in the beginning and at the end. Mm-hmm. It was very. I don't think he was anywhere in the middle.
No.
So I don't know if that's an indication that he's getting ready to retire or whatever. But I don't know.
Well, I think it just makes it even more clear that he just is not involved in the process of these machines. Craig Federini, again, did some great stuff, talking about like how they came up with the name Ventura, slick hair. Yep. He, to me, should be the next CEO of Apple. I would love him because I think he would be all over the keynote.
Yeah.
But I agree. Tim is not the guy to introduce stuff like this, but I really, truly think that Craig would be the next best guy. That's just me. I think everybody likes him. He just comes off as a genuine guy and a funny guy, you know? Yeah. But yeah, I think you got to stop worrying about Tim Cook not showing up with these keynotes. He's not going to be involved with a lot of the product announcements. What was great this year, though, too, is that people were at Apple Park this year watching on a screen. So, like, creators were invited to the campus to watch the keynote, which I thought was tremendous. I love that. I
would still love to go out and see that building.
Yeah, we missed out, man. We should have kept working there, even though we don't go out there for anything. Yeah. But Frank, thank you again for joining us on this episode.
Hey, it's my pleasure.
I'm looking forward to our next episode, which hopefully we'll talk about some Apple Pay, but also iOS 16. Definitely look at if you're going to be upgrading your phone, definitely watch this keynote, or at least watch the videos that break it down that are a little bit quicker than this one. But that's our episode this week, Frank. I love you. All right, I appreciate you. And everybody in our land, we are almost at 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. We are so close, and we are going to throw a big party once that happens. Thank you, everybody, and I love every single one of you.
Peace out, man.